A massive wildfire in Gillespie County, Texas, named the Crabapple Fire, has consumed over 8,600 acres and forced evacuations as firefighters continue their battle to contain the blaze. As of Sunday morning, containment efforts had reached 40%, according to the Texas A&M Forest Service, TFS. The fire, fueled by strong winds and dry conditions, has already destroyed several structures, although no injuries have been reported. Firefighting efforts and containment updates. Firefighters made significant progress in battling the wildfire, with containment lines established along critical areas. The TFS reported early Sunday morning that fire crews had successfully completed fire lines from Highway 16 to County Road 1631. Engine crews continued their efforts in protecting structures while simultaneously reinforcing containment lines to halt the fire's spread. Fredericksburg Fire Chief Lynn Bizzle detailed the overnight efforts of firefighters who worked tirelessly to suppress active flames and flare-ups. The fire's advance was halted at FM 1631, and aerial firefighting operations provided additional support to ground crews. However, increasing wind speeds on Sunday posed a renewed challenge for containment efforts. Authorities urged the public to stay clear of the affected areas and adhere to evacuation orders. Residents were warned not to return until officials confirmed it was safe. A no-drone zone was also established within a 5-mile radius of the fire to prevent interference with firefighting aircraft. Impact on residents and evacuations. The rapidly spreading fire prompted the evacuation of at least 500 residents from their homes on Saturday afternoon. Emergency responders directed displaced individuals to Zion Lutheran Church, located at 426 West Main Street in Fredericksburg. The American Red Cross's Hill Country chapter established an aid station and overnight shelter to provide support to evacuees. Pastor Jonathan Mollenkopf of Zion Lutheran Church described the emotional impact of the fire on affected residents. "We were outside working in the garden when we heard sirens and got calls and texts," he said. "It's been really emotional, seeing people trying to escape the fire's path. We're praying and offering whatever help we can." 7 evacuees, including a family and 2 French tourists, stayed at the shelter overnight. As of Sunday morning, officials stated that there was no immediate need for food or water donations, but emphasized the importance of community support for displaced individuals. Fire's rapid expansion on Saturday. The Crabapple Fire ignited around 1 p.m. on Saturday near 8700 Lower Crabapple Road. Initially estimated at 400 acres, the fire quickly escalated due to strong winds and dry vegetation. By 5 p.m., the fire had spread eastward across Highway 16 North, prompting emergency declarations and increased firefighting efforts. Fire Chief Bizzle explained that firefighters were working tirelessly to prevent the fire from spreading further and to protect homes and other structures. At that stage, no containment had been achieved, and embers were traveling up to half a mile, igniting additional fires. Crews worked diligently behind the fire's perimeter to prevent flare-ups and secondary outbreaks. Reports of smoke and falling ash extended as far as downtown Austin, where the Austin Fire Department received multiple calls about smoky conditions in the area. The Texas A&M Forest Service confirmed that by 6 p.m., the fire had expanded to 8,640 acres, further intensifying the urgency of containment efforts. Disaster declaration and response. In response to the escalating crisis, Gillespie County Judge Daniel Jones issued a disaster declaration on Saturday night. The declaration provided additional resources and support for firefighting efforts. By 10 p.m., Fire Chief Bizzle reported that diminishing winds in the Texas Hill Country had allowed crews to slow the fire's forward progression. Despite the relative decrease in wind intensity, firefighters remained vigilant overnight, continuing to monitor FM 1631 to prevent further fire movement. The Texas Division of Emergency Management and the Texas A&M Forest Service mobilized aircraft to provide additional fire suppression support on Sunday morning. Statewide wildfire concerns. The Crabapple Fire was one of 11 wildfires that ignited across Texas on Saturday, collectively burning over 9,100 acres. The state's hot, dry conditions and strong winds have contributed to heightened wildfire risks, placing increased pressure on firefighting resources. Officials continue to monitor wildfire activity across the region and emphasize the importance of fire safety measures. Residents are encouraged to stay informed about fire conditions, adhere to evacuation orders when necessary, and report any suspicious smoke or flames immediately. Challenges and future outlook. While firefighters have made significant progress in containing the Crabapple Fire, challenges remain. High temperatures, shifting wind patterns, and dry vegetation continue to pose threats to containment efforts. Authorities stress the importance of ongoing vigilance and public cooperation as the situation develops. The Texas A&M Forest Service will provide updates as new information becomes available. Residents and travelers in the area should remain cautious and heed all official advisories to ensure their safety. Conclusion: the Crabapple Fire has caused widespread destruction, forced hundreds to evacuate, and challenged emergency response teams. Despite these hardships, firefighters remain committed to controlling the blaze and protecting the community. With containment efforts progressing and weather conditions improving slightly, there is hope for further suppression of the wildfire. In the coming days, residents affected by the fire will continue to receive support, and officials urge everyone to stay informed and prepared for any further developments.